So tonight I'm going to do just a short review of 3 different areas that I want you to pay attention to for your posture. And the first one is the upright posture of sitting straight up with a nice straight back. And Amber would talk about in her halau or hula group that her kumu would say to pinch your shoulders together. And it can be a little much to pinch them together, but maybe just uprightness to the posture and have that upright reflection of how you are on your inside is how you're showing up on the outside. And then we're going to talk about the vision. You want a 45-degree angle with your eyes open, and you should be able to see just about everybody in the space, or your hands on the side, where you have a broad, wide vision. That's one of the key elements to when you sit to know if you're being present or not, is if you can see not myopic, but broad and wide. Always returning back to your breath. The number 3 thing is to turn back to your breath and breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. Breathe deep into your diaphragm, into your Hara, or about 3 inches below your belly button. So to really feel your belly rise and fall naturally. We don't push it, we don't count or try to make it a certain number of of an inhale, but you do it from a natural place, deep and into your belly. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. So those are the 3 areas today, is this upright back, your vision at a 45-degree angle with your eyes open, and your breath, following it all the way down to your Hara. And of course, the bonus one is the mudra. Is there your hands, left hand's out, your right hand fingertips are right at the base of the crease of your left hand fingertips, and it forms an oval, nice and gently, where you touch your thumbs together like you have rice paper right in the middle of it. And you set it right at the base of your Hara, that 3 inches below your belly button. I'm going to start out with ringing the bell 3 times. You'll hear me ring the bell 3 times. When you see me put the striker up to my hand into a gasho position, we'll all enter into a gasho and bow together to say thank you for this space and time that we're here together. We'll do our first 20 minutes sitting, and then I will ring the bell 3 times, and we'll do the same process of bowing and saying thank you. Then there'll be about a 10 to 12-minute Dharma talk, and then we'll wrap up with a 10-minute sitting. So if there's no questions, we'll go ahead and dive right in and sit in stillness and silence in our Sangha. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. All right, get yourself comfortable in a position that you want to sit for the next 20 minutes. And again, if you have to move gently and slowly. See if you can feel an itch and not respond to it. It's okay that it's there, and it has its purpose too. Let's begin. Go ahead and move your body if you need to adjust yourself. As you do, just pay attention to how you feel inside your body. After sitting still for 20 minutes. See what you notice that's different from when you started. Tonight's Dharma talk is on the Hara. Probably one of my favorite things to talk about is the Hara. As I was a boy growing up, I did competitive judo and started when I was 6 years old. And the sensei would always talk about that you need to move from your core, and that if you weren't moving from your core, you were off balance, and you could be, in judo, would be thrown to the mat. And that would, if you got off balance, that would be your skazushi was broken, so you're not in your center anymore, and you're off balance. And so we didn't call it Hara in judo until my dad started to become friends with the sensei. And my dad, being in Buddhism and being a Buddhist priest, he introduced the idea of what would it be like to sit in meditation before we start judo and when we end in judo. And so they started talking about it. My dad started talking to him about how he made a bell that he had in our house that me and Eric would ring every morning 8 times to start the day and end the day. And so they ended up making a bell for our dojo. My dad and the sensei made a bell, and it's called a stupa, or a stand that goes with it. And we would start our class and end our class with meditation. And the word Hara was introduced, to be breathing into your Hara and let yourself feel the sensation that's happening in your Hara as your center point of your body. And so going onto the mat and competing and fighting was all about, can you stay in your Hara and not get caught up into your thinking? And your Hara is that spot that I talk about, that 3 inches below your belly button is this center point right in the middle of your body. If you stand up, it's right about the same distance from head to toe, would it be head to Hara and Hara to toe? And that the Hara is this place inside yourself that holds more wisdom of knowing than your mind can ever conceptualize. And growing up, thinking that I had to have all the answers and had to know everything, and being dyslexic and ADD, I really struggled with this idea that constantly would fragment in my brain to have all the right answers. And the more that I got in touch with my Hara and can trust myself that whatever I would say or come up with was my answer or my truth, it started to get to where I could let go of this idea that the cognitive thinking that is very valuable, but it's not the one and only thing of, for me, it was like education. The thinking mind to me meant education. And learning that I could really trust the wisdom of my Hara, and I could work at it and be in relationship with it, where I could utilize the thinking, but yet be operating throughout my day from this place that is the center point of your body. So as you meditate and you sit in Zazen, you're stimulating your Hara. It's like awakening your Hara. I always say that, when you were born, you came out, and that's the part of you that had the wisdom to know how to function as a little baby, to know that you had to eat or even to breathe. This area in your body was your brain at the time before your thinking came online and started to have an opinion and started to tell you how to operate and how much you needed to breathe. And I was talking with a client today that he was saying that he was a counselor, or no, he was a preschool teacher, and a first and second grade, he moved up into it, and he could really see when kids started to develop their thinking, and they could see when they started to have opinions, and it was almost like he could watch it rise up, and they would start to have this ego that started to take place and judge things. And so if you think about that, if you've watched kids grow up, and especially at a young age, how you can feel their innocence, you can feel this connection with them that is undescribable. And for me, it's from that place that they're operating from their Hara. And then as we get older, it's like the brain kicks in and says, you know what? You don't need that anymore. Just listen to me. I got all the answers, the brain. And then I just figured, man, I'll make my day busier. I run on fear. I run on old beliefs, all the things that get operating up in my brain that can drive me. It drove me in success to operate from a place of being fear-based and try to prove people wrong. From when I was younger, I was like I am dyslexic, and so I always wanted to look good. So I was always trying to think and try to figure out how to not look bad. And then the more that I then would start to focus on my Hara and see that I could really trust myself from down here, and I could connect deeply with anybody I came in contact with, I actually found success to be from a place of purpose and not driven from fear. And then from the material success, that the internal success is more important to have that relationship with your Hara than the external success. It has value, but yet me listening to my brain and being judged by my thinking and what my thinking thinks of how I should be or how much money I should make, that true happiness comes from your Hara. So sitting together in a place where we're all practicing at being in this place that is so filled with dynamics, it has more neurons than your brain. Take a second and think about that. It's smarter than your brain. When I really try to even think about that, my brain doesn't like it, And so one of the things that I'll say is a lot of times when I listen to my Hara, my brain will actually come up with the opposite answer or tell me not to do it. That's one of the ways I say being dyslexic is I flip numbers and words around and get things mixed up. And I say when my Hara as it's talking to me, my brain has the opposite answer. And I can actually see, oh man, look, my brain is questioning something that my body's telling me. I must be on the right track. And so I start to see how I can dance with my thinking and my Hara as I go throughout my day, or I'm trying to think creatively or make new things, that I can really start to rest and trust in my Hara. And that's what I want to encourage everybody here, is that's the place to come from. That's practicing sitting in stillness and silence. You will go throughout your day differently. Your whole world will change. I've watched it happen over and over again, where I've worked with clients for years where it was all about getting in touch with this, and their life took 360-degree change. Their career changed, their way of being changed. You wouldn't even recognize them. When they started in working with me, it was all from up here, and they knew there was something more. It's the Hara. So I feel so honored to sit in community together and sit and be together in a sangha where I can really connect with people that are practicing this place of breathing into your Hara, stimulating your Hara, and sitting with it and letting your thoughts do what they shall do, but trusting that the real knowledge and wisdom comes from down here, 3 inches below your belly button. And it's a language all of its own. Some people call it a quiet whisper. Sensations is another way it talks. Sometimes it's just, I just know. And so I want to encourage all of you to trust that knowing within inside yourself. Continue to develop a relationship with your Hara and share it with others. How would you describe the Hara to other people? Because they'll notice and even ask, and they ask me, is like, what's different? There's something different about how you listen to me or how you interact with me. And so I want to encourage all of you to communicate it and share it with people in your own voice. Give it words. Be okay with maybe not knowing quite what to say. It's right here. You don't get it. But try it out, because the more that you play with it, the more you can share it, like I do and like I witness a lot of other people do, is you can give that a voice and teach it to other people. I used to teach it a lot in the Mankind Project. I used the Hawaiian word na'au is the same thing as Hara. And that I adopted that as my core way that people would really be able to get a grasp of it and understand it, is to talk about the na'au. And so your way of communicating is your own unique way of doing it, and I want to encourage you to do it from your own unique way. So continue to develop a relationship with your Hara. Practice every day. If you can, practice in the morning and practice at the night, before you go to bed and when you wake up in the morning. It's like booting your computer in the morning so it comes from down here instead of up here. It's much, much more of a joyful day to go through from down here. So thank you all for being here. I'm honored to sit together. Again, you can learn more about the Hara on my website, DojoX.co. I put out a newsletter to encourage the relationship with your Hara and Zazen. And then also at YouTube at Tony Benici, DojoX. And you can sit and I record the Dharma talks and also 10-minute meditations and 20-minute meditations along with the hour-long sessions. So thank you, thank you, thank you. From the bottom of my heart and my Hara and my thinking. All three. But this order: Hara, heart, thinking. All right, let's go ahead and move into a position that feels comfortable for you for the next 10 minutes. When we wrap up, I always encourage you to give hugs or virtual hugs and try to, thank you, Ed, I feel it. Try not to get into a lot of talking right away. Just let yourself be in the space of sitting in Sangha and community because it does create its own energy. And be gentle on yourself tonight as you wrap up your night, or if, well, it's not, nobody from Thailand today, but yeah, be gentle on yourself tonight. Take it nice and easy and honor your Hara. All right. Let's begin.
Pretty good, Amber. The gecko jumped right on you. You know that?
Thank you all for joining us tonight. It was a pleasure to have you. Thanks for joining online. And if you want to invite anybody, please feel free. Look forward to seeing you all next week online. Wonderful. Awesome. And if you have any questions or anything, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm always here to encourage. And we had a that wasn't a gecko. That was more of that's a lizard, right? Yeah, we had a lizard join us tonight. So he came in and said hi. Yes.
Hi.
That's Pedro.
All right.
That's Pedro.
Take care.
Pedro.
Aloha.